What's up, guys? Giant Chase here for another Q&A session. It's another gray and cloudy, sunny Sunday, should say. I should probably start that over, but hey, I'm not. We'll do it live. It's time for me to answer more of your questions. Again, if you want to have a question answered, please leave it in the comment section below, and I will get to it on next week's episode. But now this is Q&A 3, and we only have 2 people asking questions, but we got one that's asking multiple questions. Actually, both of you are asking multiple questions. It's fine if you want to answer multiple questions. If this thing starts getting a little bit bigger and a lot of people start asking multiple questions, I might cut it down to just 1 or 2 per person. But for now, ask away. I don't mind. Our old friend Adam Buskirk comes in saying, if Halo 2 Anniversary does get announced at E3, do you think it should be released both on the Xbox One and 360, considering Microsoft will still be supporting the 360 for a while? If it is officially announced, the rumor going around is that there's going to be a Master Chief Edition that's going to involve Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 with updated graphics and maybe updated multiplayer. Now, I've gone on record saying that I would love Halo 2. I have loved Halo 2. Halo 2 is actually the game that got me to buy an Xbox, original Xbox back in the day. People that I was living with would play it nightly. I would join in on split screen, and then I just said, F it, I'm going to go buy my own copy of Halo 2, and Xbox Live Gold membership, put it on my own PC, own TV, and then we'll play together. And that's what got me hooked on my multiplayer and on Halo 2 and the Xbox in general. If they came out with a re-release, an HD re-release, I would hope to God that they do not touch the multiplayer. It was so perfect. I loved it. We had so much fun with it. Do I think it would go on the 360? Probably not. I think if they were to release a Master Chief Edition, I mean, for Halo on 360, they're just re-releasing the same game. It doesn't really make sense. And the fact that Halo 3, ODST, Reach, Halo Wars, those are pretty cheap right now. You can pretty much get them for $10 or less pre-owned at most gaming shops and pawn shops. And Halo 4 has gone down in price as well. The highest I've ever seen it now used is $15. So, yeah, it wouldn't really make much sense to re-release them again on the 360 when they're that low. I think Microsoft, the smart move, would make higher grade graphics, maybe above 30 frames per second on the Xbox One. So yeah. Wow, this one I forgot to actually research. Adam asks, what are my 5 most underrated games and 5 most overrated games? Adam, I'm probably going to hold off on that question because I didn't research it all that well. I can pull some off the top of my head saying I think Final Fantasy VII is completely overrated, and I hate what it did to the RPG genre, but then I'm going into spoiler territory for a future video I'm going to do. Underrated, probably the ones that you never heard about all that much. Like, I think Rad Robot Alchemy Drive on PS2 is completely underrated, completely fell under the radar. If it was re-released today, I think a lot of people would catch on to it because it's a game about fighting giant kaiju with giant robots with a little tiny generic anime person. I mean, people love that. It was one of the last games Enix made before they merged with Squaresoft to make Square Enix. It's not a hard game to find, and it's not really like super rare. You can find a copy on eBay for like under $10-15 if you bid on it right. Yeah, that's something I would actually say for a top 5, a top 10 list. So I'm going to put that on the back burner, and I will let you know when I come up with that list, because it's something I actually want to think about and something that I actually want to rate. And we have Jake Hammerquist with 7 questions. Number 1, what do you define as a satisfactory gaming experience? Satisfactory gaming experience is something that actually keeps me playing beyond the main story. That's where achievements come into place. That's why I started Achievement Horror, because I wanted to show people that, hey, you can keep playing this after the credits have rolled. Like, you can go back, grind for those kills. You can go back and try to find all the hidden stuff. and get some people online that you like trading achievements with. Because I have a few people that I play games with that their gamer score isn't really that low, because they only have like 3 or 4 games that they play consistently, mostly online. So, and I like to throw in stuff that just be like, I wonder if I can get 1,000 in this. So yeah, like for me, it's just gotta be it's gotta be all there. It's like, good fun gameplay, engaging story. Like I said, graphics don't really mean the world to me. Like, something can be, as long as it's passable. Like, I don't need a million polygons pushed to show full detail. I mean, taking the graphic aesthetic of Darksiders, which is kind of borrowed heavily from World of Warcraft in their look. I love that look, and I love those games. They're not the higher end graphic games. They're pretty kind of, well, considered today low end, but I love those games, and I love the way they look, and I love the way they play. So that to me is a satisfying experience. If you guys never played Darksiders, I believe Deep Silver or the Nordic Games, or whoever bought the license, will be releasing a complete collection, 1 and 2. So I highly encourage anybody out there who has never played Darksiders, go pick it up. You're going to have a good time, I think. Number 2 from Jake. With DuckTales being remade and Shaq Fu getting a reboot, is there a licensed game that you would like to make a return in some form? Way Forward has said that if DuckTales Remastered did well, that they're going to do other Disney licensed games. I would love to see Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers come back. I know a lot of people have a felt affinity for Darkwing Duck. I never played it back in the day because that was near the end of Nintendo's life cycle, and it's really hard to find a copy of that game. I would also like to see them, if they were to do Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the NES version, I would like to see them mix in number 2. If you guys are following Game Grumps, they're currently playing that right now. I own a copy of that. Luckily, I found it really cheap, because that is a really pricey game. That's probably one of the top 10 most expensive NES games that are out there right now. Licensed ones, anyway. I mean, it's up there with like Little Samson, Panic Restaurant. I think there's another, DuckTales 2. That's another one that's high up there. Anything else I would like to license franchise? Oh, like I said, the old Capcom Disney games were really, really, really good. I mean, they really knew how to treat a license. I mean, a lot of people rag on Tailspin. I like Tailspin. It was a nice side-scrolling. It was a shoot 'em up. It was a shmup, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'd like to see that come back. Disney's Aladdin on Super Nintendo. I know everyone likes to defend the Genesis version because it's like fully animated. They actually drew it and then converted it into sprites. But something's got to be said for like the Super Nintendo version, because that had picture perfect platforming. Had everything based off the movie, music. It was a good time. And that's one of the games that's on my top 10 games I need in my collection that I just can't seem to find anywhere. So yeah, I would love to see the Disney games come back. Number 3. In addition to the last question, favorite licensed games ever. Favorite licensed games? I think me and Melanie have in plenty of podcasts and plenty of vlogs. We have a very warm affection for the Lego games when they are licensed, like Lego Star Wars, Lego Indy, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, Batman, Lord of the Rings. We have not played The Hobbit yet because we are waiting for the 3rd and final movie to be released, and then the DLC for that to be released before we just jump in and play the whole thing. Funny enough, the Lego movie we have not gotten to yet. Neither have we gotten to Lego Marvel, and I've heard nothing but good things about Lego Marvel. But yeah, as far as licensed games, those are our favorite ever. I'm trying to think of other licensed games. X-Men Origins Wolverine, even though everyone craps on the movie, and I thought it was not that bad of a movie. I mean, it's probably considered, the game is probably considered the best licensed game based on a movie that was really bad. I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. Maybe Injustice, Gods Among Us, the DC fighting game, was phenomenal. Loved it. I could go on and on about this, but we're going to get to more questions. So, number 4, I know as a retro gamer, you like games like Contra, Ninja Gaiden, and such, but has ever been a game where it was so hard, you just said, fuck it? There is one, but it's one that I'm, going to beat. I swear to God, No Game Genie, No codes, no passwords, nothing. I am going to beat Blaster Master on NES. Made by Sunsoft. You're a little dude in a tank going underground looking for your mutated frog. That's the story. That's one of the games. But most times now it's games that I'm trying to go for achievements for that I just like. It's not worth it to grind this much, or it's not worth it to try and get. One of those being 2K14, all the stuff with defeating the Undertaker streak or defending the streak. There's one to get 50 victories, but by the time you get to like number 42 or 43, you're so badly beaten if you're not careful that you will that you'll lose. Like, I lost to Vince McMahon with an abdominal stretch. He put me in an abdominal stretch and I tapped out. Like, I mashed the buttons as hard as I could and I tapped out. It sucks. So yeah, I was like, I'm not putting through myself any more pain, because it's like, it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get to that point. And then once you lose, you're just like, oh, those are 2 hours I'm never going to get back. Number 5, with the current generation of gaming well underway, what were the titles you enjoyed most from the last generation? Okay, so if we're going Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3. We'll start with PS3. PS3, I really enjoyed God of War 3 and the Uncharted games. 3, I have yet to play for Uncharted, but I am getting to that, which you will see next week when I do my game pickups. That's actually one of the ones I picked up. Also for PS3, I'm trying to think here. That was pretty much it. I have unfortunately not got to Last of Us, and I have not played the last 2 games in the David Cage Sadness trilogy, that being Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. But something I actually want to get to, because I've heard those games are just hilariously bad. For 360, gotta go with the games that got me into the 360 were Gears of War 2. My buddy Remy, who I've done plenty of Let's Plays with over on his channel, and I'll leave a link down below. It's a vulgar display of gaming. I have done many of playthroughs of that, and then Gears 3 is like something I bought. Mass Effect trilogy, gotta love that. I bought the first game. I couldn't, like, at first time playing, I couldn't get past the Citadel parts, but then when 2 came out, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this another fair shot. So I went out, bought 1, played it 6 different times, loved it, then got to 2, and then finally 3. Love the whole trilogy. I'm not one of those guys that were butthurt over the ending to 3. You know, I thought it was fine, and actually I got a little emotional. Like most people, I got a little emotional. Fellow G1 of mine did a stream of the entire trilogy, and when she got to the end, she like broke down. Like, that's the power of gaming right there. If a game can bring you to tears because of like the characters you care about, I think you've done a pretty good job. For the Wii, of course, you gotta go with like the traditionals, like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Super Mario Galaxy. I did not expect to like as much, because I played Sunshine and I was like, this is not really the Mario game I wanted. And then I played Galaxy 1 and loved it. I'm gonna get to Galaxy 2 here soon. But mostly for the Wii, it's mostly like the party games. Like, everyone knows, like, it's, once the motion controls came out, it was just a bunch of shovelware. But I actually liked it, and it's something that gets broken out quite frequently here. And also for the GameCube emulation, I love that, because it's like, it ups the resolution quite a bit, in my opinion anyway. Because if you want to get a component cable for GameCube, you're looking to pay as much as for a brand new Wii at this point. Jake's still on this. Number 6, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jak and Daxter. Which one? I have played both Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. Not the early games, but the well, Jak and Daxter I got halfway through and I kind of stopped, because that was the point where I'm like getting really cheap games, and I was like, I'd buy one, play it for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Ratchet and Clank, the only one I finished was the first Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, because I actually saw a Twitch streamer. Some of you may know him. He's probably one of the more prominent streamers. Man vs. Game. Watching him play it, and he's having so much fun with it. And I was like, let's give it a try. I had an alright time with it, but it wasn't the game I was expecting. I will eventually go back to Jak and Daxter to take a look into that. I know there's an HD collection for Jak and Daxter, and I think there's one for Ratchet and Clank now on PS3. I know there's a bunch of them. Sly Cooper, I hear that there's new games out for that, but they just fall under the radar for me. And he finally says another edition, best and worst reboot and remake ever. I think we can all agree the 3D next gen, well, quote unquote next gen version of Bionic Commando did not live up to expectations. That was pretty bad. I do see a lot of people, though. I will defend one of them. Some people say that Conquer Live and Reloaded was bad. I'm like, I thought it was fine. Like, it's an HD remake of the N64, and they threw in a few extra jokes in there to coincide with the Xbox release. I think a lot of people were unhappy with the way they handle multiplayer. I'm like, it's the same multiplayer that's on every other Xbox game. I mean, they're not going to do the cool stuff that they did on the Nintendo 64. Trying to think of other bad reboots and remakes. Oh, jeez. I guess the Double Dragon 2 that was released by that other company, not Neon, by Way Forward, because that was awesome, but there was another one that was released that was just pure and utter garbage that gave you a bad ending if you use a special move like the spinning kick. You use that any time during your playthrough, you get the bad ending, and that's really, really shitty. So those are the questions for this week. Thank you guys so much for asking questions. If you want to ask a question and have it answered next week, please leave it down in the comments below, and we will make Q&A number 4. So until next week, I am Johnny Chase, and I will see you next week. Take care.